So, Garg is also a Gotra in Assam.
Yes, sir. Garg is a
I
Garg.
see. What is Kamrup well known for? Kamrup district. Any important thing about Kamrup?
Sir, first of all, it's a historical place.
Mm-hmm.
It has been mentioned in history from a long time, right from the Mahabharata. The first mention of Kamrup came in the Mahabharata. Then it was mentioned in Ramayana, and subsequently it was mentioned in a large number of epics, including foreign travelers like Yuan Sang. Today, sir, one of the most prominent places would be Kamakya Temple, which is in the middle of heart of Guwahati city itself. That is the most famous place today in Kamrup district.
Oh, you said that this is a historic place.
Yes, sir.
Do you think Mahabharata and Ramayana are part of history?
Yes, sir, they are a part of our
It's a part of our history.
Yes, sir.
The literature is part of our history, or the events which have been described in those are part?
So the literature, of course, are a part of our history and epics.
Mm.
And when we talk about the events,
Mm.
sir, the way I see it, the way we read it in history, is they are events which have been told and retold and eulogized, and perhaps we see it in the form that.
Is there any historical evidence that they actually happened?
So there are no historical evidences as such, but then there are references, the places which they say, there are references to the certain events happening in some places, so there are references of those areas. For example, Kamrup, the kingdom of Kamrup, which corresponds to today, it was said to side with the
Two?
Sir Kauravas. It was said to side with the Kauravas, the king of Kamrup. So we get references of that in here.
You made the wrong choice. Anyway. So you have done Assamese literature.
Yes, sir.
Who are the well-known great names in Assamese literature?
Sir, Lokinath Bejboro is one of the foremost writers in Assamese language. He wrote on satire, very satirical. Then we have Navakanta Borua, and then we have Devakanta Borua, and recently Bhupena Zarika is also a great writer apart from being a great thinker. So we have a drawings of Assamese.
Have their works been translated in other languages?
So recently, from the past few years, works of Assamese, frontline Assamese writers are being translated. For example, Mamani Rosam Goswami's latest book was translated into English, which is published by Zuban Books.
Okay. So you are an engineer.
Yes, sir.
And you have worked also in three positions you worked, one can see. And don't you think all this, your knowledge of engineering would be wasted once you came into a civil service?
No, sir, I don't think that the knowledge of engineering would be wasted. In fact, it adds value to whatever I'm going to get. It's a value addition, basically, for the job profile. So, I believe that engineering teaches the foremost quality of neutrality. Whenever we study any approach, any problem, so we approach it from a neutral point of view. That, I think, is very important in administration.
Why do you wish to join the administration of the civil service?
So because of the large profile in different areas we get to work, which would in fact enhance my own personal capacity and the satisfaction of working for the people.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. What qualities are required for a civil servant?
Sir, I think a civil servant should be neutral, impartial. He should have good decision-making skills, and he should be able to understand and implement those decisions, whatever are taken at top.
Can you name three turning points in Indian history?
Sir, The first would be the loss of the western frontier by the Mughals in the 17th century. The second would
Loss of the Western
Western
frontier by the Mughals in the 17th century.
Yes, sir.
How is that?
So because Shah Jahan lost the western frontier to the Iranians for the last time, after which we were never able to go beyond Afghanistan. Once that was captured by we are never able to recapture it again.
Is Ranjit Singh go all the way to Kabul?
Yes, sir, but then we lost our strategic frontier, which we were never able to capture in that manner that we did. So that would be one, sir. Second is the Mughal administration, the vestiges of which we see in the lower bureaucracy even today. The Amin, Karun Ghosh, all these are the coming of the British.
How do you define the turning point in history?
So something that shapes the future.
Yes. So how do you define, say, the coming of the British was a turning point?
So I think the coming of the British gave India the political unity and the boundary that we see today.
Anything else British years?
So the administration that we see today, the judiciary, the English language. In fact, at the law, I would pick up my top choice would be the political unity that they gave to India.
Don't you think that in our successive governments have been at pains to obliterate all traces of British Raj, renaming the streets, throwing away the statues, etc., etc. Which means the British must have been an evil empire, British rule. How would you react to this statement?
Sir, I think it would be very difficult for us to call something evil or not. I mean, it was the wishes of the people. I think whatever the politics that we see in our country today is a reflection of the society that we are in. So if today we want renaming of streets, I think rather than looking at it being anti-British, I look at it as a way of that we have confidence in ourselves that yes. So it's actually a positive connotation for me. I don't see it as a thrashing of the cultural legacy of the British, whatever they gave us, but in fact regaining of the confidence in the Indian people. And that politics is a reflection of that.
Were the Mughals foreigners or not? Were they foreigners?
Babur did come from the...
They were foreigners from Central Asia.
Yes, sir.
How is it that we are maintaining all their names, everything? We seem to have absorbed and adopted the Mughals, who were also foreigners, but who have tried to disown the British.
Sir, I think we have also assimilated the...
There is that self-confidence you're talking about.
Sir, I think we have also assimilated the British culture in the judiciary and the administration.
Right.
We do see it.
But
If you were asked this question, three true turning points in Indian history, you cannot just pick it up from the Middle Ages. First, talk about the coming of the Aryans. That set the tone for the whole of India. Then coming of Islam. Mughals were part of this. Several Islamic waves came into India. Mughals were not the first, nor were they the last. Third, the coming of the Europeans. Again, the British were the last. Portuguese came before. These three changed the whole history of India. The coming of the Aryans, the coming of Islam, the coming of the Europeans.
Sir, but now in history we don't believe in the theory of coming of the Aryans anymore.
So there was an important change that took place. There was some mixing of took
Yes, sir.
place. If you call it the Aryan period. You see? Okay. Coming back to foreign policy issues, you are from the Northeast, and no part of India has as many borders with the outside world as the Northeast has. And the Northeast has a lot of developmental problems also, internally, connectivity problems also. So how would you see, how can the Northeast, instead of being kind of backwaters as it is at the moment, be made into a major link of India with the outside world? And hence contribute to its prosperity. The moment it becomes, instead of being in the periphery of India as it is today, it can play a completely different role, as you can see, given its geostrategic location. Do you see the point?
Yes, sir.
Whether it is Bangladesh, whether it is Myanmar, whether it is the Yunnan province of China,
Yes, sir.
and when you're talking of the Lukis policy, the whole of the Southeast Asia,
Yes, sir.
where is the starting point? It's all located in the northeast. And yet, what have we done? Where is, so tell me, how would you, as a policy maker, move away from being a collector now, come to Delhi? How would you guide or direct Indian policy?
Sir, I think we need to make Northeast, as you say, the focal point for the Lookish policy, through which we'll look to the East. And the thing that I would stress on is the cultural unity in terms of the ethnicity, because, for example, if I take the Ahoms trace their lineage back to the Thailand, where they came, the first Ahom kings. So if we can build tourism sectors, cultural exchanges around these ethnic lines and bring the people closer, and then talk about border trade. Moreh, for example, can be developed as a major trade center, the Moreh trade center in Manipur. So I think for me, the ethnic unity and then trade.
But before that, you need connectivity. People have to reach. Is there a single international airport in the whole of the Northeast?
So Guwahati is an international airport.
Where from there, where you fly?
So we started in the past 2 years, it has stopped, but it did fly 3 years back to Thailand. We had a few flights, but then it stopped for the past 2 years.
So therefore, there was no connectivity. There was expectation. It didn't work out.
Yes.
And Goa is only one place. Others?
No, sir. At this moment, there is no connectivity.
So, talk of reality. Don't talk of wishful thinking. We do not have the connectivity. Until and unless you have physical connectivity, reliable, dependable physical connectivity, all the rest, trade, tourism, will not flow. How many foreigners come to the Northeast? Instead of the fact that I know for the Northeast is some of the most beautiful sites that India can be proud of. How many tourists do you get? Forget the Southeast Asia, forget, just think of Indian tourists. Rest of India. You don't get that many. What? Not enough hotels, not enough road linkages, not enough airports. So this is the thing that needs to be done. Northeast has to be able to attract people from outside. At the moment, it's not able to attract people from outside. The other issues are attracting capital. You do not generate capital of your own. You have to bring in capital from outside. Entrepreneurship. I'm sorry to say, people are very artistic in the Northeast. As you talk of literature and all the rest of it, no question about it. Where are your entrepreneurs? Have you produced a Tata, a Birla, an Ambani in all 65 years? You see, the entrepreneurial quality is missing, completely missing. So there are some of the issues you have to look at. And only then, but it is desirable that the Northeast does, as you say, becomes the focus, the hub. But the question is not everything can be left to the outside world. The people of the Northeast also have to focus on these things. At the moment, is what we are doing, getting money from the center and squandering it. Whereas nothing happens to the common people. That's what we do. And creating problems for among themselves. Nagas don't get along with Maitis don't get along with everybody has a problem with everybody. Come on, you are the seven sisters. If you do not forge unity among us, you're talking about the cultural unity, you're talking about the Ahoms getting together, the Thais. Let the Ahoms not get along with the others. In the immediate neighborhood. You cannot jump over ethnic groups who are in your immediate neighborhood and establish linkages with people that are 1,000 kilometers away. It won't work. You see? Think about it. Okay.
You must have heard or seen in the newspapers about a chopper deal which came into some kind of controversy with regard to giving up money. Now, have you heard of Berlusconi, who was the Prime Minister of Italy? He made some comments about this deed coming into question. Have you read that comment?
No, sir.
You haven't read it. Now, in this deal, actually, what has been the basic wrong points? Can you mention that? What went wrong where? It is a chopper which is of very poor quality, which has got defects, which where the safety factors are not sufficient, or is the price very high, or is it not sufficiently competitive? What exactly has gone wrong with the deal?
Sir, what I have come to understand is that the expression, the tender that was set, it was tweaked in such a manner so as to help a particular company with specifications of
In what way was it tweaked?
So the technical specific, I cannot, I don't know the technical specificities, but what I've understood is that it was tweaked in that manner which would benefit the particular company which is in question.
Yeah, that is one point that we said about it. But is something being said against it also, that what was done was quite right and correct?
Sir, I have not.
Yes. Okay. Now you come from Assam.
Yes, sir.
Now in Bengal, it was said till some time ago that the position of women is comparatively very high in society. Probably now things have deteriorated to some extent. Now in Assam, what is the position of women in society? Okay, fine, doesn't matter. It's all right. Do you have something to say? Yes, sure.
Sir, I think the position of women in Assam is fairly good if we look right from history till today.
Right
Yeah.
now?
Right from history till today.
Yes.
If we look, we have always had women figures who were at the forefront of the Assamese culture society. For example, sir, if you take the example of Mamuri Goswami, Indira Goswami, who passed away last year. She was a frontline writer who wrote on gender issues, and she was also the focus when the Alpha first thought about negotiating with the government of India. It was her who acted as a link. So Assamese women have always been in the forefront, and not only in that top level, but even in the subaltern approach, women work hand in hand with men in agriculture and in fishing. So the visibility of women even in the subaltern level is very much in Assam.
Economic field.
Yes, sir.
But what about social field?
Even the social fields, sir, the women participate with men hand along in hand, be it social functions like Bihu, or for that matter, any tribal festival. Women always work hand in hand. The visibility of women is quite high in Assam.
Okay.
You know, the Northeast is known as the land of seven sisters. Why is it known so? Why is it called the land of seven sisters?
When this term of Seven Sisters was first given in a radio talk show in Tripura by a journalist called Jyoti Das in the course of conversation.
But why? Why is it called land of seven sisters?
That I don't know.
See,
When students come to Delhi from the Northeast, they face a lot of hardship, other than not getting proper places to stay, but even otherwise, culturally they face a lot of problems. Why do you think that is so?
Ma'am, I think there is a difference in our food habits, perhaps, and the way of living, our culture.
What do you mean by food habits?
Ma'am, for example, if I take the example of Delhi,
Mm-hmm.
in Delhi, a very simple example would be a lot of people have vegetarian food.
But we all like momos.
Yes, ma'am.
So food is now, everyone is getting assimilated, everyone everyone started enjoying all those type of foods.
But then the staple diet of Northeast, like for example pork, etc., which are not that visible. So that is a difference that we have, and we are not accustomed to the high spices that because in Northeast the food is very bland. We don't use much spices, only chilies are used. So on a very low level, the food is a difference.
Okay, food is a difference,
Yes, ma'am.
so it leads to problems. Okay, anything else?
But I think that it's also got a, I mean, the people from Northeast also have this certain tendency which is aggressive on their part, which I feel sometimes is that they also try to not mix with others. So there's this trust deficit which remains there. It's like this side is also not making any effort to, I think so it's the fault of everyone, including the people of Northeast, that they are not trying to gap this trust deficit that is there.
Okay. Suppose you wanted to make Delhi a safer place, not just for women but for everybody. What steps would you take?
First step would be increase police, because Delhi is such a big place, but the number of police personnel to total number of population is very less. I think that is one thing we
Okay,
look at.
that's the first.
First. And second, the borders of Delhi have to be better monitored. Delhi shares its boundary with 2 or 3 states, so it's very easy for someone to commit crime and just go away. So in that case, I think this border areas of Delhi needs to be properly monitored.
Anything else?
And these are the 2 steps that we have.
All right, thank you.
So you tell me this Brahmaputra. Brahmaputra passes through Assam.
Yes.
What's the length? How much length of the Brahmaputra is in Assam? What's the total length of the Brahmaputra? Where does the Brahmaputra originate?
Sir, in Tibet.
Tibet.
Yes, sir.
So, we've been reading recently that there's problem in the offing with the Chinese diverting water of the Brahmaputra for whatever purpose. You're aware of this?
Yes, sir.
What are they doing, these Chinese?
Sir, initially there were reports that Chinese were building dam in Tibet, and it created quite a furor in India. But then our foreign ministry said it is a run-of-the-river projects. So if they are the run-of-the-river projects, at this point I don't think we have any area for concern. Because if it's a run-of-the-river project, it means they won't store water. So the passage of water will remain the same. So at this point, I don't think there is much trouble over if China has made run-of-the-river projects.
Yeah. But then tomorrow they may change their mind and make dams.
Yes, sir. If they make dams which store water, that would definitely be a problem for Assam, in fact India, because India being a lower riparian state. So, sir, if more dams are being talked, then I think India should be taken into into the confidence of what kind of dam they are building. That is very important.
But you use the word lower riparian now. In international law, what are the relative rights of upper riparian and lower riparian?
Sort of minimum.
So, in Hindi we have a saying, jiski lathi uski bhais. If you have the might, then you can do what you want to do. So, in upper riparian, they can build dams. What can you do? You won't go there to destroy those dams.
So, but they need to maintain a minimum flow level, which was also evident in the recent Kishan Ganga.
So, what is the international law on river flows? I mean, suppose at some future point of time,